Dragon Age the Veilguard has been the laughing stock of the gaming community with its fake genders and pronouns and gay crap, but now they're panicking. Seems like they're scrambling to remove footage from the game because it is a giant joke. This is what happens when you get Troon activists to make games instead of actual, I don't know, gamers who like video games. All right, so let's dive into this article. It comes to us from That Park Place. BioWare allegedly scrambles to remove gameplay footage of Dragon Age the Veilguard virtue cringe. Now, we saw in my last video where I showed the cringiest scene ever, and of all time almost. The barv. Oh, I used the wrong pronouns. Let me do a barv, which was supposed to be 10 push-ups, but instead she did 5, but I digress. Anyway, so this says propaganda in our entertainment has become a real problem, and it's one of the video game industry is just beginning to suffer under fully. After the events of 2020, many major game companies committed to bringing on consultation companies, yes, like Sweet Baby Inc., who has been also tanking the gaming industry, that were supposed to help them diversify their storytelling. Instead, games of today, now having been in development often since even before the pandemic, tend to look more like educational courses in divisive ideas than sources of universal entertainment. Also, I called this out, and I just want to say, it can't just be me who notices this, but it looks like they just copied off of Hogwarts Legacy, which is hilarious because Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is made by a bunch of gender LARPers, people pretending to be genders that they're not, and they took a game that the gender LARPers were boycotting, which was Hogwarts Legacy, and copied it. So as you can see here, it just looks worse. I said Dragon Age Veilguard looks like they copied Hogwarts Legacy's homework and just made it worse. So here you have this menu, and then you have this one, which looks very similar, except worse. And then you have, now I know some of these are low resolution. I don't know why it posted so resolution. Both of them did, so you can't accuse me of being biased. So here's Dragon Age Veilguard gameplay. And here you have Hogwarts Legacy gameplay. Hogwarts Legacy just looks better, but it looks like they copied their homework. And I noticed this when watching some gameplay. I was like, I feel like I've played this before, but it was better. Granted, I do think, and I know some people don't like it when I say this, but I do think that Hogwarts Legacy is a bit overrated. I still had fun with it, but I do think it is a bit overrated. But still, just saying, it's a lot better than this. All right, so still, as much as it has pained us to see the gaming industry damaged by losses such as Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, Dustborn, and more, we've reached a new level of awful with Dragon Age the Veilguard. According to a veteran gaming developer, the situation is so bad that BioWare is allegedly attempting to have certain gameplay sequences struck from the internet. Oh, shoot. Yeah, like this one. This is the one I showed in my last video as well. All right, so how embarrassing. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Have they not seen what's been happening with games like Dustborn with Concord and so on and so forth? How we have been memeing and dunking on these queer games? And they really thought that this was going to fly? What a joke. Okay, so in the captured footage by Mark Grums, who happens to have been the project lead on the original World of Warcraft, Dragon Age features a character making... Yeah, so this is one where I showed the clip on my last video if you saw it. Basically, she calls this they, them, fake gendered person a she, which is what the character is, a girl, a woman, accidentally used the proper biological pronouns, and so then she had to apologize and do a barv, do some push-ups as her apology. So Dragon Age the Veilguard is just one of many games in a pattern of woeful underperformance as a result of modern virtue inclusions, and unfortunately it's having a massive impact on an industry, gaming, that is 13 times the size of the film industry. Well, we keep seeing games fail, studios be shut down, employees be laid off in droves, it's because of all of this stupid ideology that has taken over. People are preferring to play retro games, older games, because they don't have all this garbage in it. So, with vast sums of money on the line for each game, as well as development timelines that often take half a decade to complete, we could be looking at another Atari level collapse in gaming as a result of heavy-handed storytelling aligned with particular niche worldviews. Yeah, and that's one thing I've been complaining about with the gaming industry for years now, is that games have taken this very heavy narrative-based focus, and so these games are super expensive to make. Gameplay has taken a back seat to the story and the cinematics, and especially the message that they want to push on viewers. In this case, it's a lot of queer and gay messaging and virtue signaling and so on and so forth. And so you don't really have substance with an actual game that's good. You know, obviously there are some outliers and some good ones still, especially coming from Japan, but still this has infected so much of games. And if you look at older games, which are a lot better, like the classic Tomb Raider games, is one thing that made them so fun is that the main focus was on the gameplay, and it wasn't watered down, babied down gameplay. The classic Tomb Raider games were difficult in traversal, in puzzles, and even in some of the baddies that you fight against. But a lot of that was boiled down to the traversal, the acrobatics, the maneuvering around the platforming, and the puzzles, locating artifacts, keys, so on and so forth. So they notoriously have been known as difficult games. A lot of people have had to use guides just to get through them, which I will judge you if you use a guide. I think it's better just to take a lot of time and figure it out on your own, but I digress. Anyway, so the stories were centered around adventure, right? So Lara Croft, she's going on an adventure. She didn't have these dramatic stories about her personal life and parental drama or anything like that. The stories set the backstory set everything up for Lara to be an adventurer. Her parents disowned her. She just was living a life of adventure because that's what she wanted to do, and she was just obsessed with it. So now you've seen that shift from that to these overly cinematic, dramatic, oh, Lara Croft has a bunch of buddies now, and all this drama, and oh no, her father, oh no, her mother, oh this and that, and Lara Croft's gotta cry all the time. And so you have that being such a huge part of it, and then the gameplay taking a back seat, the gameplay being watered down for modern audiences. This is the problem when gaming went more mainstream. So anyway, this is where we're at with Dragon Age the Veilguard, and a lot of people, because, you know, we're dunking on it, we're saying, oh, lol, look at this isn't gonna go well. And the rebuttal from those defending this and the woke people and all that is, oh, well, look at how it's doing on pre-orders. It's like number 3 right now on Steam. Against what? I mean, obviously Call of Duty just came out, but other than that, there's not really any fierce competition. Now, this game costs like $100 to $200 million to make. So do you really think it's going to recoup all of that? I don't know. Maybe it will, but I just don't think that seems very promising right now. A lot of Dragon Age fans are upset, especially once you upset the fan base. That's a big problem. General gamers, we're sick of this stuff. We're sick of all of this ideology that's inserted in everything. We're over it. So I don't think this is going to go well, but we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.